Hello everyone and welcome back to Unlimited Racing 2D Season 4. Today we're here at the home of Japanese motorsport, at least in my opinion, Suzuka Circuit. Last year we had a really good Grand Prix. This year will it be better? I guess we'll find out soon. Anyways, before we get to the weekend, let's take a look at the standings. Charles Leclerc, he has a, an alright lead, I guess, for now. 9 points is his gap between himself and Carlos Sainz, who is, a man on form. Max Verstappen on the same points as Carlos Sainz, and George Russell only a point behind. Daniel Ricciardo, the man who won the last Grand Prix, what a race he did have as well back in Monza for his third Grand Prix victory of his career and the season. But Esteban Ocon, he's going to be battling very closely with Daniel Ricciardo for that P5. Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly on the same points, with Bottas and Giovinazzi finishing off the top 10. Sergio Perez now in the bottom 10, he's P11, with Alex Albon P12, Mick Schumacher P13, Oscar Piastri P14, Lance Stroll P15, Callum Ilott P16, Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen 17th and 18th, with Nikita Mazepin 19th and Yuki Tsunoda last. Constructors wise, it looks like this. Alpine have once again taken back the control of the constructors' lead. 8 points is their gap to Alfa Romeo, so it's still a very slender lead. Mercedes, even more slender between Mercedes and Red Bull. 0 points between those two. I guess it goes to average finish. McLaren 5th, I think they'll finish that, with Force India now ahead of Williams. AlphaTauri battling with Haas, with Ferrari last. Anyways, let's get to it. My favourite for pole, this time I'm going to go with George Russell. I'm saying George Russell. As we go down to the first two corners, looks like the Alpines have a slight advantage. Giovinazzi though, and Pierre Gasly, getting into a string of things. George Russell P7. Did I just give him commentator's curse? There's Giovinazzi battling for P2 with Pierre Gasly. Charles Leclerc though has been such a dominant lap from him. Although he shouldn't get too complacent, because Pierre Gasly, he might even get pole. It's going to be close. I think Charles Leclerc just about beat Pierre to it. Although we'll see. No, Pierre Gasly beat Charles Leclerc. Pierre Gasly will be starting on pole position for this weekend's Japanese Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, 100th of a second behind Pierre Gasly. That's how close it was. With Giovinazzi finishing off the top 3. Daniel Ricciardo P4 with Sainz and Verstappen not the best qualifying from those two. With George Russell P7, Alex Albon P8, Perez P9 and Bottas P10. Norris not even getting into the top 10. That's how competitive it was this weekend. With Oscar Piastri 12, Esteban Ocon P13. Let's keep in mind, Ocon's won a race this season. And his teammate, Pierre Gasly, has managed to get pole position. So I guess it does matter from race to race. Lance Stroll P14, Mick Schumacher P15, Yuki Tsunoda P16, Kevin Magnussen P17, Callum Ilott P18, Nikita Mazepin P19 with Nico Hülkenberg starting from last. Russell starting on the hard tyres. Most of the drivers starting on the softs. Anyway, it's lights out and away we go here in Japan. It's a good start from Charles Leclerc. Obviously with the inside line, he gets a better getaway. Gasly uses some errors. Gasly keeps ahead of Charles Leclerc, although Leclerc uses some errors going through Spoon Corner. Further back, Carlos Sainz has managed to get a really good start, now in P3. However, the rain is predicted to be on its way. There's Max Verstappen as well, battling with Charles Leclerc. Pierre Gasly's had a perfect start. He'll probably be pitting now. So he does. So everyone does. Lando Norris, who is on hards, P10. George Russell, who's also on hards, P11. Bottas hards, P13. Piastri hards, P16 I think that was. Yeah, the timing screen's gone with Ilott, Tsunoda and Magnussen all on hards. Everyone, unsurprisingly, pitting for the wets, for the full wets. But there, we saw a cheeky move from Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo on Charles Leclerc. Alfa Romeo did not have the pace in qualifying. However, this race, I must say, they're looking, like favourites. Can Carlos Sainz get the move down on Pierre Gasly? Not yet. No, he can't get it done. It looks like he's susceptible to a move from Max Verstappen, and Verstappen gets the move done. Daniel Ricciardo P4, he's lurking there. You can see him. He's managed to get better corner exit from Carlos Sainz, although Sainz using some of his errors. Pierre Gasly has been in this position a couple of times in his career. He's not got that elusive first Grand Prix race victory yet. But I know it's coming. It's going to happen soon. Esteban Ocon managed to do it this year. In the first Grand Prix back from the summer break in Belgium. Can Pierre Gasly do the same thing just at Suzuka? I guess we'll find out in about the next 11 laps time. Anything can happen in those 11 laps. Max Verstappen running P2. Right now, Gasly and Verstappen just throwing jabs at each other. Nothing big. Seeing where each other are. Seeing how the race goes as well. Although Verstappen's put in a really good middle sector. Gasly though, he's also had, not the best exit. Yeah, Verstappen's gained. He's gained some time on Pierre Gasly last lap. Gasly is going to really have to respond in this first sector. But Max Verstappen's on him. Let's see how much downforce Verstappen has compared to Gasly. Now he's going around the outside at 130R and gets the move done on Pierre Gasly. It's a very simple move from Max Verstappen. But Pierre Gasly will be back for more. I can bet you. There he is, round the outside. Can he get the move done? Verstappen pushes him off the track. Max Verstappen pushes him off the track. You can see the McLarens there as well battling in the background. But Max Verstappen's in, so Pierre Gasly is going to have to push. Charles Leclerc also in. Alex Albon too. Pierre Gasly is going to have to give it everything now. Can Ocon get the move done on Giovinazzi? Yes, he does. He gets the move done. Daniel Ricciardo as well. He's all over Carlos Sainz. And this rain that we have, it's not like proper heavy rain. That's just, enough to keep the track damp. That track won't be getting dry anytime soon. And Daniel Ricciardo stays out. Ricciardo stays out. So once again, they're throwing the gamble. They're throwing the gamble. Max Verstappen, unsurprisingly, comes out in the lead. But Daniel Ricciardo staying out longer than anyone. Now what Ricciardo is going to have to hope for? That wouldn't even work. Even if the rain were to stop right now, the track would have to dry out and that would take a few laps. I think Red Bull have taken an unnecessary risk. Unless it's going to carry on raining. There, you can see how little grip Daniel Ricciardo has. He's just sliding around the place. He's going to lose a lot of positions. Already he's lost positions to Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc as well. Giovinazzi drives past and Esteban Ocon. He comes out ahead of George Russell though. That's really crucial for George Russell's race. He's going to have to get past Daniel Ricciardo. However, keep in mind, Daniel Ricciardo is on a lap fresher tyres, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Sunshine is to be expected very soon. Although first, the track is going to have to get a little bit drier for us to go onto slick tyres. As I say that, Carlos Sainz makes the move for P2. So right now, we are seeing an Alfa Romeo 1-2. I think Pierre Gasly still has something to fight with though. Is he going to try the move? No. The gap between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, around 4 seconds. Charles Leclerc running in P4. George Russell, his teammate, all the way down in P8. If they want a good result, Alpine, they're going to have to hope and pray that something crazy happens, and that's never out of the equation here in Unlimited Racing 2D. Although right now, if they're losing positions to Antonio Giovinazzi, no disrespect to Giovinazzi and Racing Point, but Charles Leclerc is the reigning world champion, and I guess you could say the fastest car on the grid, but if they're getting overtaken by the Alpine, they're really going to need a miracle. I wonder which drivers are going to get onto the dry tyres first. Max Verstappen's really struggling, so don't be surprised to see him be the first driver, although that would be a massive risk. However, Verstappen does take that risk. He's going to be the first driver to pit and to be on the dry tyres. I think this is going to be a risk, with high risk with high reward, because the track is almost dry. Let's keep an eye on Max Verstappen's lap time. There's George Russell, who's on wet tyres, getting the move done on Max Verstappen. And then Verstappen gets him back. Sainz is in now. Same as Pierre Gasly, he's also in. There's Max Verstappen. He's going down the pit straight now. Where's Carlos Sainz? There's Carlos Sainz! Carlos Sainz has managed to do the overcut on his teammate. This is massive, not only for this Grand Prix, but for this championship season as well. Carlos Sainz will be in front of his teammate Max Verstappen. This time by a few points, if it were to end like this. Charles Leclerc, I don't know why he's managed to go on the hard tyres. I know last race they worked well, but I don't know why they've gone with the hards this time. Maybe they've run out of their allocation of soft tyres for the weekend, but I'm not quite sure. That's a really weird move from Alpine. Gets past Hulkenberg fairly easily. I would have just gone for the soft, sorry. George Russell running P8. There's Giovinazzi, he's just managed to drive around the outside of Charles Leclerc. George Russell, it's been a horrible race for him. Horrible weekend in general. Carlos Sainz, on the other hand, qualifying was not the best. However, this Grand Prix, it's just fallen down to him. And obviously the strategy to get past his teammate, to do the overcut now. Max Verstappen's under great danger of Pierre Gasly. Mick Schumacher's not making the situation any better. Pierre Gasly gets past Max Verstappen and gets past Mick Schumacher fairly easily. It's going to be, really close. I don't know whether Verstappen will even be on the podium, because Giovinazzi's looking really quick. Could this be a third podium for Racing Point and Antonio Giovinazzi this season? I think it may be looking like that. With 1 lap to go, Giovinazzi's in striking distance. Through the S's, through the first sector we go. Giovinazzi's managed to get the move done. Can he make it stick though? Yes, he does. Charles Leclerc's also in striking distance of Max Verstappen. This race has gone from being phenomenally good to going literally down the drain. As soon as the rain stopped, his race stopped too. Carlos Sainz, on the other hand, his race has just been a dream. Carlos Sainz wins once again. That's another win for Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly P2, he'll be very happy with that performance. Antonio Giovinazzi taking a third podium for himself and the team. Charles Leclerc, damage limitation this weekend was And that's just what Charles Leclerc did. Max Verstappen crosses the line in P5 with Daniel Ricciardo P6. George Russell, a really bad weekend, a weekend to forget for George Russell in P7. With Ocon P8. Lando Norris P9. And Alexander Albon finishing off the top 10. In P11, it was Valtteri Bottas, with Sergio Perez behind him and Oscar Piastri in 13th, Stroll 14th, Schumacher 15th, Hulkenberg 16th, Mazepin 17th, Eilor 18th, Magnussen 19th, and Tsunoda 20th. Drivers wise, this is how it looks. This was a really significant Grand Prix. And Carlos Sainz walks away from this weekend as championship leader. Honestly, out of the top 4 drivers, I think Carlos Sainz, he was the least likely to be even leading the championship. But now he's leading the championship, Before the season, I would have said maybe Charles Leclerc, then Max Verstappen, then George Russell, with Carlos Sainz 4th, but wow, Carlos Sainz, that great run of form, the race wins as well. Just falling down to him, honestly. Daniel Ricciardo P5 with Esteban Ocon now being followed by his teammate Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris P8, Valtteri Bottas P9, and another good podium for Antonio Giovinazzi. Sergio Perez P11 in the championship, with Alex Albon only 5 points behind him. Mick Schumacher P13 with Piastri 14. Stroll 15th in the championship, Eilor 16th. Hulkenberg 17th with Mazepin 10 points behind him. Magnussen a further point. Tsunoda in last. Constructors wise, it looks like this. Now, Alfa Romeo 6 points ahead of Alpine. The constructors is just switching from race to race. The point gap between Mercedes and Red Bulls also increased as well. Now that points difference is 12 points. McLaren, I think that they'll just be able to survive and finish P5 with Force India now, their resurgence and the new team owners. Anything can happen. Maybe next year, could they be fighting for race wins? I guess only time will tell. Williams P7, AlphaTauri P8, Ferrari have overtaken Haas and Haas are last. Thank you ladies and gentlemen for joining me for this Japanese Grand Prix. Next time out will be Sepang, the Malaysian Grand Prix. Thank you for being with me and I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.